And welcome everybody to episode 9 of the Thai Pilot Podcast. This is Rear Admiral Zekk Terrik here with the beautiful and talented General Doyon. General, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. How are you?
Oh man, it's another day in paradise. Did you? It's Mother's Day here in the United States, so we're doing a special Mother's Day episode. Do they have a Mother's Day in Canada?
Yeah, sure. It's the same day.
Oh, it is. Right on. I hope you spent some time with your mom today. So.
No. I've been to my stepmother though with my girlfriend. So we bring her some flowers and we had dinner with her and
Right on, man.
stepfather too, stepsister. Pretty cool.
That's good. It's good to hear. All right. So, did I introduce myself? I think I did. So this is episode 9, and all the episodes we've done from here on, we've interviewed Grand Admiral Ronan and Maverick and all these old farts, and we're really tired of it. So we're going to interview some new blood today and get their perspective on the Thai Corps.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen and aliens, please allow me to introduce Lieutenant Commander fr0Zen of Rho Squadron. fr0Zen, thanks for joining up.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm really appreciate y'all asking me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, we're happy to have you here on this special Mother's Day edition of the Thai Pilot Podcast. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your Star Wars history? And I know you've been with us for, gosh, at least it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's
4 or 5 months or something like that.
Yeah, right around 4 months. Yeah, it was late to mid January, I think, was around when I found the group. Yeah, so I mean, I was my earliest Star Wars memory. I think I was probably 4 years old when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, and that's the earliest memory that I can go back to. I can vaguely picture and recall the Darth Vader Anakin like funeral pyre fire scene at the end.
Oh yeah,
like really like the one memory from being 4 years old that like I guess that just really stuck with me. My parents we didn't have a lot of money, but my parents did a great job of finding like all the Mattel toys from like like special sales and things and like garage sales and stuff, and ended up with a pretty sizable collection. I think probably the most famous image of me from that time. I'm in front of a stand-up like second freezer in the household, and I have created a Hoth scene inside of the freezer with just like an AT-AT, a chicken walker, a snow speeder, and various cast and stuff all in there in the ice buildup in those old like stand-up second freezers.
Oh, you needed the Wampa in there, man.
Yeah. I don't think I had one. I had a Tauntaun. Definitely had a Tauntaun. Yeah, so that's great. I just really grew up with it. It was very much, like spirituality rise. Like I'm not religious, but hey, if there's anything close enough to my, ethos and belief of like the world and everything and, anything spiritual, like the Force is really it, the energy within us and beyond us and all through us. And yeah, so just lifelong fan. I think I'm in the minority where I actually loved the newest movies and took them as what they are and really enjoyed them. I think that sets me very much in the minority. Yeah.
I saw a guy in the grocery store today with a shirt from the sequels, and it had Finn and Rey and everybody on it. I said, "Wow, that guy's brave." wearing that shirt. So how did you find us? Did you get curb stomped by one of our pilots or?
No. I actually never saw the anybody EH with an EH tag, and don't recognize anybody that I played with since from like when I was first got the Squadrons game. Like, all right, so I knew Squadrons was coming out like late fall last year, right? I actually lost track and forgot it because I work in politics, and obviously last year was pretty crazy for me.
Pretty wild out here.
Yeah. So like in like August, I knew it was a thing, and I was like, oh, it's coming. Oh, this is gonna be the best thing ever, and I was all excited for it. And then I totally forgot until like January. I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there a new Star Wars game? Oh my God, yes! So I built up a brand new rig. I hadn't built an actual gaming rig in about a dozen years. Was the last time that I had a real gaming rig. So put one together. Of course, it was a very hard time right now for building a gaming rig if you paid any attention to like, peripherals and availability of like graphics cards particularly. But anyway, I managed to find enough good stuff and got a good rig together, and I got into Squadrons. And a couple weeks in, I was like, all right, with enough time, I could be decent at this. I mean, like I played, TIE Fighter was like my formative game when I was like, I guess it was like 13, 14 when that came out. And, so I actually played it first. Then came to X-Wing, was like, yeah, that's not as good as TIE Fighter was. I missed out on XVT. I totally forgot that it even existed when I was, because it came out when I was at like college age and actually got away from gaming for a while and totally forgot. So anyway, Squadrons comes out. I'm flying it. I'm like, yeah, I could be pretty good, right? This is great. This is awesome. It's everything I wanted. But like, you really need a team to fly with. So I just like, went looking around for what are some squads. I found the name of a few different clubs, like signed up for all the Discords and was like, well, this Emperor's Hammer one is the only one that actually has like people that are active. I'm going to tune in and see who they are. So yeah, that's how I got here.
That's awesome, man. You know what? While you were talking, I went and looked it up. For this year, you are 7th overall in the Emperor's Hammer with 354 Squadrons wins.
Not too surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. Githrin and Genie are first and second with
sure, yeah, I knew that.
And 854, and then third place is not even close. Yeah. So your top's on the Warrior for sure. And actually, nobody even cracks the top 15. Oh no, Robert Hogan does. Wow, that's wild, man. But he has quite a. Robert Hogan is a little bit more diverse. He plays quite a few games there. But So how did you, what do you think about it so far? You've been around for 4 months now in Rho Squadron, and how are you liking it? Is there anything you've changed?
Yeah, no, the top level thing, man, is like, over the course of my life, I've basically have my gaming life has been either space sims or first person shooters, because also like Doom came out when I was like about the same age, like 13.
Oh, me too. Right? I remember playing Wolfenstein when I was a little kid.
Yeah, totally. So Wolfenstein, Doom, the Quake family, right up into Unreal. So like I played a lot of FPS and a lot of space sims. The Privateer, Righteous Fire. If you should remember those from the early '90s, those were also some
I remember Privateer.
Like, super favorites. Yeah, it was like one of the first that was really a sandbox environment. You didn't have to follow the story. You could go a bunch of different paths in your alignment, good, bad, neutral. Or you could follow the story. Basically a space pirate game, right? But it totally a first person space sim. I've done those, right? And, over the course, especially in playing like FPS, FPS groups, man, like the people are just not always the best people. I don't know how to put it otherwise.
It can be toxic. Yeah. If you ever play Call of Duty on the PS4, man.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys have said so many things about my mother.
So like there is basically none of that with this group, which I find hilarious that we're ostensibly the bad guys, but it seems to be like the best group of just good people that I have ever played games with as a close group of people, by far.
Yeah, I think the worst community I've ever played was League of Legends. That's far.
Gosh,
that's the worst I've ever played. Even worse than the Call of Duty and all the shooters games, and that's why I left. That's why.
To be quite blunt, like I had been playing some Unreal again, before I picked up Squadrons, but I got a reminder, like there are a lot of literal fascists in the Unreal tournament community, like
that's right.
Straight up actual fascists.
Yeah,
I didn't know that game was still kicking either. Do you know that game has still got servers going? 20 years.
The original 99 Unreal actually has a lot more activity than the 2004 version. The 2004 version has about let's call it like 200 people that are still on a competitive level worldwide, and they basically just maintain an internal ladder where the same 200 people are competing with each other, and like reshifting seasons of teams in a particular game type is like about the only game type that's still there. So I was doing that, but it's like I don't like hanging out with these people. I like the game, but I don't like the people. And so then I found Space Sim that I like even better, and then I find people that's like, wow, this is a good group of people. And it was at a time where, I mean, I'm single, no kids, just me and my cats, and, a year plus into pandemic life that, I needed some human interaction, to be quite blunt. And this group has been great for my psyche too, to just
Yeah, no
have
kidding.
the
No.
good people with a lot in common from, from all over the world. I do particularly love that it's a global organization.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we always try to make it. You talked about how wholesome we can be, and we always try to make it inclusive too, because we have multiple minors
Mhm.
in the group and otherwise. So it's kind of
Yeah.
legally we kind of have to be, whether we like it or not. So
Well, I mean, even other groups. I mean, there are plenty of players across all ages and other things, but they don't make an effort to
yeah,
accommodate that in a mature, reasonable, and responsible way,
yeah.
like this group does. So yeah.
we were talking. We were talking in the Discord. I think speaking of good first-person shooter communities about I think me and Rapier and one of the guy was talking about. I don't remember who it was. We were talking about Battlefield 2142, about what a good little community that had when that game was still around. 15 years ago.
It was a
But
nice game. It was
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
there's still a little small community kicking around for it. But man, I swear I had a whole bunch of other questions for you, and I cannot remember what they are. Doyon, do you have any?
Well, so you haven't found the community when like on Reddit or on games that like you said. So you basically were looking for a group of players and you found out the website.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, found that there was a Discord and got on, and immediately there were people talking to me, unlike some of the other ones. Like, in hindsight, if I had come across like TRA or NRN or a
Yeah.
couple of others, like then like maybe I would have ended up in those groups, but those were not the ones that I found initially. And like actually from interacting with, I won't name names particularly specifically, but in some interactions with some of the other groups, I'm actually very glad that it worked out that I signed up with
Yeah.
this group because we'll just say the energy is entirely different. Not bad, just not my style.
That's amazing because I don't know for you, Zach, but back when I joined the EH, so more than 20 years ago, that's basically how I found the club. And back then, I was not really speaking well, or maybe not at all. I wasn't speaking English properly. So and we did an episode about this maybe like six episodes ago. Anyway, so I found this the EH while I was looking for a Star Wars club, and I was so thrilled because there was like customs battles for TIE Fighter, and I think X-wing versus TIE Fighter back then.
Yep.
And everything was just like new, and as you said, there's people around the world, so it was really amazing for me coming from a small city in Quebec that I could speak with someone from the U.S., from UK, you name it, Germany. There was even a Russian guy back then.
Hmm.
It was really cool. It was really amazing for me, and that people are still getting into that kind of community today. I think it's really great because we spoke about it on Discord and with some people back then, and people are moving, right? So people are just going from one club and something happens and they're like, oh I will just join another one, and they go away. But people in the EH, they're really loyal to the club,
Mhm.
and that's really something remarkable.
I think a
Yeah,
lot of it has to do with the longevity of the club
Yeah,
too, because it's been around since 1994 and has been through quite a lot. And a lot of people, they'd really rather go to bat for it than see it die.
yeah,
Because I know things were rough there. 10ish years ago? I guess I wasn't around for it, but it was down to like 2-3 squadrons or something like that, or
yeah.
it was like one wing of pilots or something like that. So it certainly for the guys on the command staff, it certainly seems like it's almost a part-time job for Pliff.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I noticed that his reports come out at 1 a.m. and stuff like that, which means he's up late. It's 1 a.m. my time, or it's like midnight or something, which means it's about 1 or 2 a.m. his time, because I know he's an hour ahead of me. So he's up till 1 or 2 a.m. just writing reports and doing stuff.
He's posting stuff on Discord. Like for my time, it's like 4 a.m. So I guess it's like around 3 or maybe 2 a.m. for him.
So, Cliff, if you're out there, if you're a fan of the show and you're listening, get some sleep, man. We're not worth all this. All right.
Speaking of the longevity, like I stay amused that I didn't find this organization before now, like because I know on the order of 25 years ago when I was flying TIE Fighter, when I was flying X-Wing, when I was playing all the Space Sim stuff in the mid 90s, like I went looking for organizations and somehow like I wish I had found the group then. Somehow, you know, however it went, I didn't find the group at that time, so I'm like extra glad that I did now, and I just stay impressed to, you know, find that like, hey, this has been going on for 25 years, and it's sort of like a, you know, better late than never. You know, really.
Man, I've shared the story of how I found the TIE Core, I think in previous episodes, but for those who don't remember, I'll share it again. So I used to be, I was a big Command & Conquer player. I was a big RTS player. When I was in grade school and junior high, and then Red Alert came out, and with Red Alert also came Westwood Chat and Westwood Online. And Westwood Chat, it was like a ladder where you could just rank up in Red Alert. But Westwood Chat also had like just chat programs, just like IRC. And I don't know why they chose Westwood Chat in particular, but it was just full of dozens of Star Wars groups. And there was Imperials, there was Rebels, there was neutral ones like Bounty Hunters and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I joined the Imperials because I was, 12 and angsty. And I don't really know why. I like the uniforms, I guess. And it was literally like, everything would happen in like real time. So you would be in your channel and then another rebel group would just join your channel and you guys would be getting attacked and flooded. And it was like when you played with your friends, like in the playground, and you would just change the rules and crap like that so you would win. It was a lot like that. And anyway, when I was on there, it was, I met Howlatter, Doyon. You might remember him.
Yeah, I do. I still talk with him.
Yeah, he was the operations officer, who's the guy, I guess it's what John does now. He would just hand out the medals and stuff and take care of like uniforms and stuff. I met him on there and he brought me over here, and then he ended up leaving and I joined up and deployed and came back, 20 years later, and here I am. And it was really interesting to experience back in the day, because you would be on IRC and there'd be a couple hundred people, and then just the chat would just be scrolling, just almost nonstop. And I wouldn't really talk very much in the main channel. I would stay in my wings channel, and I would know, like, I would say now generally I know almost everybody in the whole TIE Corps. I didn't really know anyone outside of my wing.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I never spoke to my Commodore, ever. I had nothing to do with that dude. I remember my Commodore was Proton. I never spoke to the guy. I spoke to my wing commander, actually came to my high school graduation.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
Yeah, because he lived in LA, which is just a couple hours away from me. Mm-hmm. And he ended up, I think he became the Commodore of the Sovereign, and he still kicks it in the Discord. I haven't seen him chat in quite a while, though, but he's been a reservist for quite some time. But it was a very interesting and kind of meandering path to it. I'm actually checking to see if he's still in the Discord right now.
That makes me kind of wonder if Discord as a better, friendlier tool has been a positive for the organization and the growth and the way of games getting away from IRC into Discord that happened some handful of years ago now, but.
Well, personally, I prefer Discord over Telegram, which we were using maybe a year ago.
Telegram is like glorified AIM.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the difference.
I don't like it. But, Discord is pretty neat. Way better than IRC back then. But as you said, Zekk, there were so many people on the main channel, and there was really like a small group of people, mostly speaking all the time. Oldburst was one of them. Maybe you don't know that guy, Frozen, but yeah, he's quite a legend, and that will be for maybe another episode. But
Did
then,
he get
well,
banned, or I don't remember?
I think he's banned from the EH. Yeah, not sure,
I'm
but
sure he's not missed. So
yeah, well, yeah.
if you're Obers, if you're listening, bye, Felicia.
But yeah, it was really a very interesting time back then, and it's still it's quite different, of course, today. But it's still it's really cool to get some more people involved in club, mostly because well we got some new blood and those people were like yourself, Frozen. You can like discover the whole club and its history and get promoted, and maybe well we don't know what the future is giving us, but it's really nice to get new people and also well new people with new ideas, you know. So we never know what can happen, and well, of course, there will be more Star Wars games, and maybe the club will expand more um, when they're released. And well, it's really nice to have you with us.
Yeah, I mean, I just to kind of frame it, like in my experience, it's impressive if any organization around a particular game like keeps a core of people for more than 2 years.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
in groups that I've been a leader of in the past. I was the top captain for an Unreal Tournament capture the flag team for about 8 years, but I only ever had like the same kind of like core group of people who would be like the match players for a range of time for a year and a half to 2 years. And then I would have to like basically go out and essentially like recruit a whole new roster of people. So I mean I definitely appreciate how difficult, how rare, how challenging it is to keep any kind of core of people around any particular hobby,
yeah,
whatever it is, games or not, for more than just a couple of years. So it's just I mean, just stellar to me, absolutely unfathomable, really, to come across an organization being like 25 years old and knowing that speaking to the two of you, that you both have histories with the organization going back 20 years. It's unreal to me.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot to do when I was 14, so it chewed up a lot of time, certainly.
and I was just wondering when you joined the club, have you been looking also for the joining other maybe subgroups like the Dark Brotherhood?
Oh, I just started getting some word about that. I know. I'm a member of Rho, but just with timing and like game preferences. Like there's so many people who are in the Tempest squad that fly squadrons pretty heavily, so I end up flying with them a lot. And they've been exploring getting activated and entering into the Dark Brotherhood as well.
Yeah,
So I haven't really taken the same steps with them yet on that, but yeah, it is a curiosity that I'm down to explore a little bit.
You know what? It was interesting back. The Dark Brotherhood. Today's Dark Brotherhood. You wouldn't even recognize from the past one
yeah,
because it had that one too had 1,000 members. I don't know. I don't know if it's that many, but it's several hundred. And they all. I think one there was like three. I can't remember what they were called, but I could just call them sections. And one was devoted to the ground pounder games, and one was the flying games, and one was devoted to
yeah.
like
The
fiction and
orders.
RP. Yeah, the orders. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. And it's certainly much different. We should do an episode on that. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, it will be nice.
We got to get Monty on here and Miles.
Are they both in the Brotherhood?
Monty is the GM. Miles is the
Oh,
the roster guy. See, yeah, I don't blame you for not knowing. I think that's the problem.
yeah, exactly. That's the problem because there's, well, I guess there's a Discord channel for them, but they never talked about it.
Yeah, I was on it. I think I left it when I was cleaning up my chat bar just because it's not very chatty.
Yeah.
I just put it in the chat since I happen to be in there.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right on. Yeah,
Thank you.
need that. I think later. I always I know they expressed some interest in. I know Marenta wanted to activate the Hammer's Fist too, and our old Stormtrooper subgroup, and that was actually I joined them before the Thai Corps, and that was different. But I guess when they had it activated before, it just sort of became like doing double work. So like you would submit the same crap for the Thai Corps that you did for the Hammer's Fist, and it wasn't very unique in its own way. So that would be really cool for them to get that going again, because that was certainly a fun subgroup. But I'm not sure if it was the people that made it or if it was the subgroup that made itself. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they created the subgroup in 1997, 98, maybe. Not sure.
That sounds about right. Well, Frozen. So, what if you could? What would you say is your favorite thing about the Thai Corps? Is it just the people in general, and is there anything you would change at all? Because I definitely know that we're not perfect.
Sure. I mean, like, as far as a particular thing I enjoy the most, it is. I think it is definitely the international aspect. Like I've come across really like only one other community over my teen years into adult life that was international, and that was a Tolkien, Lord of the Rings community.
Yeah.
But I always appreciated, getting to interact with people internationally in that. The first person shooter games, right, like are so, connection and ping oriented that you don't end up getting the same international abilities. A lot of that basically being that the internet in the United States is not as good as pretty much the rest of the world.
You just made me feel for Alejandro right now, man, with his poor Venezuela internet.
Oh goodness, yeah, no, that's an entirely valid, different topic too. On quick note on that, like I do think it's great that there has been a lot of expanding games, gaming and access for the basically the nations of the global South have been finally getting some presence over the past few years, and that's really awesome. Because like I was saying, that I love the international aspect the most, and so I'm certainly attuned to the privilege that even though it is international, and I love that, right? It is definitely the more privileged nations that are inclusive or included within that international framework, as much as I love it. So how about that's actually a great thing that would be an idea for an improvement is what could Emperor's Hammer do to do some proactive outreach to say the nations of the global South, right, and bringing games and bringing gaming communities to South America and Africa and Southeast Asia.
Hi to your cat there on camera.
Yep, that's my co-pilot Noodles. He's definitely a Sith. He's a Sith Lord in training as much as he chooses violence.
Hey, you know what? That might not be such a bad idea, Doyon. I think that's you and Miles' department, though, but sort of more global outreach. We got French speakers, we got Spanish speakers. I think it's Inferno or Thunder Squadron. One of them has a guy that's in Hong Kong. I know there's a ton of them.
Germany, there's a lot of people.
Germany. How could I forget John and Dempsey's over there and Woody? I think Dempsey's Dutch. But,
Silvius is from Germany.
Yeah. Some global outreach. That might not be such a bad idea. We'll make some notes here.
There's not a lot of people from speaking French, though. As far as I know, I'm the only one currently active on the Emperor's Hammer, but there
for now.
For now. But there was people from not a lot of people from France though, but from Quebec, of course. We were at least 4 or 5 back in the days, and one of them left with the old Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't Firefox?
Firefox,
in Quebec? Yeah.
Well, he moved to to the U.S. Well, back then I don't know what he's doing right now, but yeah, he was from Quebec City, I guess, if I remember correctly.
Right on, man. All right. Well, I think we're pretty close to 30 minutes here. So what we like to do at the end of the TIE Pilot podcast is we kind of cover the news from the last time that we submitted an episode. I know today the Strategic Operations Officer, John, you were promoted to full admiral. So congratulations. You must have paid a hefty bribe to get that promotion. Good work.
Congrats.
I know the Chalkila Cup ended. Firebird Squadron finished in first with Theta, and then Lambda and Epsilon. So congratulations to all you guys.
Good work
pilot.
from
real.
Jimmy and Silwar for organizing all the cup and well, everything around it.
And Jeannie had 101 kills in the whole competition. Holy cow!
Wow.
That's not surprising to me.
No, yeah, it's
I
not.
get
That's
to fly with him
about
about every day, yeah.
We had Ace TIE Pilot and Robert got promoted to Major. So that's a pretty big deal. I think that's it. Did you guys make some snazzy new uniforms yet?
Not yet.
Oh man, it's pretty nice looking. You got to go play with it.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm about to do after emerging from as a club we've been so focused on dogfights, just being the flavor that has really fit our play style and what we've been into and excited about with Star Wars Squadrons, and have really put fleet battles, the other game type, which is technically the primary game type of the game, on the back shelf. And suddenly in the last 2 weeks, just this magical moment, everybody you know what, we're ready to give that a shot. And we just up and entered into 2 major tournaments each of the last 2 weekends.
Oh man.
So I've been very aggressively practicing on particularly fine skills and tricks and tips and things. So now that's kind of we got past this most recent tournament, I'm I think the uniform thing is going to be the next thing I do, because to be quite honest, my joystick hand is still sore from all of the work and flying I've been doing the last 2 weeks.
Oh man, you mentioned playing TIE Fighter when you were a kid. I played the original TIE Fighter all the way through with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh wow.
My wrist has never been the same since.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Is that really the reason though?
Yeah, it started the reason.
Okay.
All right. The TIE Pilot podcast is now rated R, up from PG-13. All right, Frozen, well, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks so much for asking me.
On this special Mother's Day episode, we also want to, I'm sure there's at least one mother in the EH. I know we have Colonel Marenta in the EH, so we want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. If there are any mothers, I apologize that I forgot you. It just it didn't come immediately because I'm kind of tired and I've been drinking a little bit. So sorry, guys. But happy Mother's Day to all. Thank you for joining us on this special Mother's Day episode, man.